Welcome back to another episode of Insights with Vinny Mac. My name is Vince, aka Vinny Mac. Thank you very much for joining me for another episode, another insight. This is kind of like the Christmas edition or the Christmas special. Well, there's nothing special about the edition except the fact that it's the end of the year, that we are on the threshold of another Christmas falling upon us. Can you believe that the year went by that quickly? You know, so many people are still caught in the disbelief that the year is already over. A lot of them are looking back at the year with regret, with disbelief, with discontentment in their hearts. I look back at the year and I say thank you, thank you. I made it through another year. Yes, this wasn't the greatest year for me, but what did I learn from it? And that is what we're going to be sharing on this particular insight. How do you reflect back to the year that was, how do you take out of that year that was, and how you apply that so that you can take your life a level up in the year that lies ahead. So stay tuned for this particular insight, as I'll be dropping a different kind of perspective in terms of not just making New Year's resolutions, but really setting the bench for yourself, Stop being a prisoner of the past and start being the kind of person that perseveres strongly into the future. So this particular insight is going to give you that shift in your thinking and shift in that dynamic. So stay tuned for this particular one. Now, before we go into the insight, if you haven't yet, or if you are new to my channel, please by all means subscribe to the channel. Like the content, drop me your feedback. I would love to engage with you and connect with you in regards to your thinking. You see, by you interacting, helping me understand what type of content I need to be putting out there to help you take your life from where you are to where you are capable of being. And I do that by sharing transparently from a coaching perspective as well as from a godly perspective. So, by all means, do drop me your comments and let's just dive right into this particular insight. Okay, so if you've been following my journey, you'll know that one of the things that I love to speak about is clarity, especially on social media, on Facebook. Whenever I put out a post there, I love to center people's attention to the fact that you need to have clarity in terms of your vision. A lot of people still find themselves in the wilderness, not being able to achieve the goal or the targets that they set out for themselves. And they ask themselves, why don't I ever get the breakthrough? Why don't things happen for me? That's because you do not have clarity in terms of where you are and where you wish to be with your journey. You have a vague idea and a vague understanding of the type of outcome that you're looking for yourself, but you're not putting the processes in place to get to that particular outcome with your journey. And that is the big challenge with so many people out there. They have no idea how to set the processes in place to get them from where they are to where they wish to be. And the only way you can set the processes in place is, like Napoleon Hill said, firstly, you need to have a burning desire. Without that, you're not going to be able to push through when the challenges come your way. Secondly, what I love saying is that you need to have clarity. The thing that you are searching for is already searching you, but it cannot find you because you have no idea what it is that you actually want. Think about it for a second. What if I asked you, what is it that you want with your life right now? Will you be able to, just like that, provide a clear, specific answer in terms of what it is that you want for your life? Without overthinking it, without overanalyzing it, without over-explaining. Can you give a simplified answer in just terms of what it is that you want with your life? I can tell you now, 99% of the global population, 7.8 billion people, 99% of them cannot tell you what it is, or 98% of them cannot say what it is that they want out of their lives. They have a vague idea of what it is that they want, and I used to be one of them as well. But for this past year, I've been sitting down, doing the introspection, tearing apart all these walls and fake beliefs that I used to have from the past, and really starting breaking it down and saying, what is it that I want with my life? What are the processes that I need to put in place in order to get me from where I am to where I desire to be? You see, that's what my year's been all about. It's been about tearing down beliefs. It's been about tearing down the journey completely and starting from scratch, and I wasn't afraid to do that. This was an incredibly hard year. I had to deal with so many different negative kickbacks coming because of that. But I'm looking forward to what lies ahead in terms of my journey, because I'm absolutely clear in terms of where I am and where I wish to go. And I want to challenge you as well. Look back on your year. Look back on the year that was. Look at all the factors that were happening in this particular year. They happened for a reason. You are recycling the same old beliefs over and over and over, and that is why you're manifesting the same outcomes in your life on a continuous basis. If you want to break that loop, if you want to break that chain, then you're going to need to start employing new beliefs, new ideas, and then obviously new processes. Once you get the right habits in place, you get the right behaviors in place. And once you get the right behaviors in place, you can definitely work to getting the right outcomes in place. So how do we get the right processes in place? Well, in his book, Awaken the Giants Within, Tony Robbins speaks about the behaviors that brings us extreme pain and the behaviors that brings us extreme pleasure, and how we tend to gravitate towards that which gives us extreme pleasure. I remember as an adolescent or as a youth, unfortunately I had the bad habit of smoking, as well as did so many of the youth in my particular neighborhood where I grew up. That's no excuse, but that was one of the things, one of the bad habits that I really picked up in terms of the neighborhood that I grew up. And I remember moving from the youth to the adolescent phase, and I was telling myself that, as soon as cigarettes reach a certain point, a certain price tag, that I'm going to quit smoking. And this was a few years in the making already, so I was already starting to program my mindset and my thinking. But I enjoyed smoking because it gave me that sense of relief, it gave me that sense of satisfaction. I had cravings, I had severe cravings. As any smoker can tell you, you have these insatiable cravings for another puff, for another cigarette. And like I said, I got to that point where I knew I needed to quit, but I wasn't making any effort in quitting. And then this one day I decided, as I was purchasing a packet of cigarettes, I thought to myself, cigarettes are really expensive, right? And that thought started manifesting and it started snowballing inside of my mind and became this seed, this desire. And I told myself that as soon as cigarettes become a certain price, that I was going to quit smoking altogether. And lo and behold, a few years after that particular thought started manifesting in my mind, the cigarettes hit that threshold, it hit that price point. Now, what was extreme pleasure for me, smoking, suddenly became extreme pain, because now I had to produce money at that particular price point that I said was my ceiling, that was my limit. And I programmed my thinking into believing that that is my limit, that I would be willing to spend on a packet of cigarettes. So that became real pain for me, taking out money and paying over money, my hard-earned money, just for the fleeting joy of a few puffs on a cigarette. And very soon the pleasure of smoking became overridden by the pain of having to pay that particular price tag. And that is how we start getting the right processes in place. We need to make what is pleasurable so painful that we decide that, it's not worth doing this anymore. So for example, if you want to lose weight, but you enjoy eating the foods and, loading up on all the different carbs and calories that you are loading up on, then you need to make the decision that, intermittent fasting or eating the right way, not necessarily diets, because I'm not really a fan of diets, but intermittent fasting and eating the right way and eating structured meals at structured times is a good way of moving yourself towards a state of becoming more healthy, working out, exercising. That can help you become more healthy. Once you can attach extreme pleasure with that particular mindset and that particular behavior, then putting the processes in place to get to that point, it becomes so much more easier. Now, if you want to understand more about putting processes in place, a very good book to read and a very good book to dive into is James Clear's Atomic Habits, because it really lays out for you the principles in terms of the processes that you can follow to get your life on the right track. Going into the new year, I might actually do a deep dive into his particular book, because I really enjoyed his book and I really enjoyed how he laid out the whole process of getting the right behaviors, the right habits into place, and how a small habit can just snowball into becoming this big breakthrough in your life. Okay, so as you look back on your year that was, I want to remind you, don't be conformed to the thinking of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And as you reflect back on the year that was, remember that everything that happened in this year, everything that happened, good or bad, is as a result of behaviors and thinking that you've had in place ever since birth. Now that you have this realization and this awakening, you can start shaping the future that you desire to see. Like I said, don't be a prisoner of your past, but be the kind of person that perseveres towards the life that they desire to have. And it is possible. It is possible that all of us can have this life. It is not meant for just a select few. It is meant for all of us. God says, I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, to give you hope and a future. So yeah, it is possible that you can have that life that you desire to have. You are going to hit stumbling blocks, you are going to hit roadblocks, but your thinking is what's going to elevate you and take you to a new level and take you one step beyond where you currently find yourself. So start changing your thinking, start changing the way that you see the world. Right, so I hope that you got value out of this particular insight. If I do that, just that little belief that, no matter what challenges you are facing right now, it is possible that you can turn your life around as well, because it's on the cards for you. Now, like I said at the beginning of the insight, if you haven't yet, by all means, please do subscribe to the channel or like the content. Drop me a feedback. I would love to hear from you. I really would love to engage with you. I would love to chat with you, because like I said, it does help me understand what type of content to put out there for you, and I'm really looking at shaping up my channel in the new year, taking it to a new level, and just really providing you with a deeper level in terms of a coaching perspective and bringing that godly feel into it as well. So, wishing you, your family, a very blessed Christmas, wishing you a prosperous new year. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the new year. I'm looking forward to sharing more insights with you. For now, this is Vinnie Mac saying change your thinking, change your world.